Hey Nerf, and I see it's Duke Winterwall here. This is take 2 of my unboxing video for the Hyperfire. I originally filmed it from a first-person view, but my camera angle was complete shit, so I'm throwing all that away and starting again. Anyway, welcome to my second ever unboxing video. Today I'm going to be going over the new Nerf Hyperfire, which was recently leaked, I guess, by Walmart. They let a small quantity go. So thank you, Corporate Mistakes, for letting me get my hands on this blaster early. It's not set to release until the fall lineup, so we'll see when everybody else gets them. But just first looks here, looking at this package, it is multi-languageal, which makes me think that this is not the final production version. At least this won't be the final production version that we see here in the States. They generally make packaging specifically for the US and other large markets. So whenever you see multi-languageal things like this, it generally means this is an early production run and that it's going to be distributed to as wide of a target as possible. So they're claiming over here 90 feet or 27 meters. So they're sticking with the XD claim that we all know is a falsehood. So we'll see how this blaster actually works out. They're also claiming 5 darts a second, so that's rate of fire, obviously, and you know, I don't know anything about that, so we'll take a look and see what happens. Alright, so here we've got it in the box. Everything is, you know, packed up. First thing we're going to do is take a look at this drum. It is a completely orange drum. It looks pretty ridiculous. But something that I'm noticing right off the bat here is that it does have a recasting of the injection mold. They did make some revisions to the mold. So this is not the old mold for all of the other 25 round drums. At the least it's had some revisions to it because they did add some lettering, which is interesting. I didn't think that they would, you know, take the effort to do that. Yeah, this is copyrighted 2015, so it's definitely been a revised drum since the Rampage has been out since, I want to say 13, but maybe it was 2014. But nice 25 round drum. Obviously it's going to come with the 25 darts, but the main thing we're going to be looking at here today, guys, is this blaster. But it's very back heavy. It is extremely back heavy, actually, which is terrible because, you know, the batteries, 4 D cells, adds a lot of weight. But the one thing that I did want to look at really quick is the jam door, which is actually not really a jam door because it also serves as the pusher mechanism for full auto. It's got a conveyor belt up here. I don't know if you guys can see that at all, but there you go. It's got a conveyor belt up here that, you know, belts the darts into the flywheel system. So one of the initial things that people were wondering is how many teeth the conveyor belt has. It only has a single tooth. So that means that a single rotation of the conveyor belt will feed 1 dart into the flywheels. And obviously, since it's claiming 5 darts a second, we have to assume that the conveyor belt is rotating at 5 cycles a second. And we'll see if that actually is what it is. But one thing that I'm kind of excited for about this blaster, I think this blaster looks terrible. It has a massive bulbous front end. This is all dead space right here. This stock is just huge, ungainly. It looks awful, and it's terribly weighted. This thing is way bigger than it needs to be. But, you know, they can't all be stripes, can they, fellas? Right. Completely forgot what I was talking about. The one thing that excites me for this blaster is the massive front space right here. It's just a big flat space with a little bit of bodywork. I can cover up these grooves that they have into the side. I can take off the Elite lettering and this stupid zebra camo, which is obnoxious. But I can take all of that off and get a really nice flat surface for hydro dipping, which is going to look really well on some select films. Because most of the time when you dip a blaster, your film pattern gets broken up everywhere, but this has a nice big flat surface. It's really going to lend itself well to that, so I'm looking forward to what I can do with it. But, without further ado, we're going to slap... Alright, so we've got 3 triggers here. Our mag release, our rev switch, which revs up when you hold it, and then our main trigger, which will activate the conveyor belt and feed the darts. Yeah, it sounds just like a stock strife or any stock flywheel blaster, so I'm not expecting the 90 feet at all. It's no way it's going to get 90 feet, especially with current flywheel tech and what Hasbro is producing as... yeah, I would expect to probably see around 60 feet per second muzzle velocities out of this blaster. Hopefully I'm wrong, hopefully it's higher, but I don't expect it to be. So I think, besides it looking aesthetically like a piece of blue and orange poop, I think it's decent looking. It's definitely going to lend itself well to minimizations. The stock can completely come off, and then you have a bunch of room up front for your batteries. So I think people are really going to have fun with this blaster. In stock form, maybe not so much, but people are really going to have fun with it. One thing that I am noticing right now is that it has the new springless tactical rail insert. So for the longest time they were using springs in here, and now they're not. It also has a lock button right here where you have to pull back before you can open up the jam door / conveyor belt mechanism thing. The jam belt. This is now the jam belt. Alright, so it has a lock before you can open up the jam belt, and I'm assuming that the lock needs to be closed before the flywheels will rev. So here they are revving, and I'm just going to switch off the lock, and it cuts the circuit. Alright, so that means that there is an electrical lock up here. Even if you have the jam belt completely closed, it has to be locked forward to work. So that's interesting. Can't really think of another blaster that has an actual locking mechanism on its jam door / pusher. I don't know. This thing's gonna mess me up. What did I say it was? The jam belt, something like that. Yeah, whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and set up my camera and try and get some firing video for you guys. And, you know, I'll be right back. Hey gents, I hope you enjoyed that quick firing video. So I'm just going to explain it really quick what I did. The 25 round drum I loaded up and tried to do full auto as much as possible. There were some breaks, but for the most part I wanted to fire bursts of either 4 or more darts. One thing I can say is the 5 dart per second might be a little bit high. I would have to do some actual counting, but I want to say it's around 4, maybe 4.5. So I will not knock them on their advertising to 5 darts a second, because it was faster than a stock rapid strike. And you know, since that's the current full auto front runner in the Nerf line, that's a good place to compare it to. What I do have to say is 5 darts per second, or whatever this actually is feeding that, is entirely too fast full auto. You don't need 5 darts a second. There's no reason for that. The flywheels do not have time to compensate, especially stock flywheels. Oh, my full auto shots were getting a good 10 feet less than my singled Koosh dart shots, which the 18 round dart clip, when I filled that up, that was full of Koosh darts. I tried to do the Koosh darts in single shots. You probably saw a couple double shots, because there is no timing mechanism on the conveyor belt jam door / pusher mechanism thing. There's no timing mechanism whatsoever. So It's either you do full auto rotation or you get lucky and stop it when the tooth is on the other side. Because of that no timing mechanism, you might have noticed, I think one of the 2-start shots was incredibly underpowered. That's because it actually got caught halfway into the wheels from my last cycling. The back of the tooth caught it just a little bit, moved it in, and then I stopped cycling, so the dart was stuck there. Then I started cycling again and it pushed it all the way through. So no timing mechanism on the belt, which is going to make it difficult for you semi-automatic users. This is really a full auto kind of blaster, and they don't really give you much leeway in terms of that. But judging overall, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I want to say I was maybe 40 feet, 35. Yeah, let's go with 30, actually. I probably should have measured this shit, but oh well. I was about 30 feet away from my tree, and I think I was doing roughly parallel to ground. I might have had it angled at the very end. So yeah, this is not a 90-foot blaster. I guess I'm going to give you my honest opinion on this blaster. There's no way it is worth the retail value. So don't even buy it if you can only find it for full retail. The only reason I bought it for full retail was because this isn't supposed to be out yet. But other than that, it is not a super innovative blaster. Yes, it has the conveyor, jam, belt, door, mechanism, pusher, door, belt, jam, pusher mechanism. It does have that. That's interesting. I don't really see it catching on too much. First of all, I'm not a huge fan of full auto. Strife for life. That little bastard is amazing. There's nothing wrong with the Strife. Bring back the Strife. We don't want this Hyperfire crap. We want the Strife. Yeah, I would have bought 5 Strifes in place of this Hyperfire with the same amount of money. Thank you, Walmart, for overcharging me for this full auto monstrosity. I should probably start being serious right about now. It is not a... I mean, maybe this is just personal bias, but I really don't like the way it looks. I've heard a lot of people say that they love the stock. I don't understand that. The stock looks awful. The stock is super heavy. The stock, why would you? I mean, lengthwise, yes, it is a good lengthwise stock, so if that's your requirement for a stock, I apologize for bashing it. The stock does its job. It holds its batteries. It shoulders it nicely. This stupid bulbous thing up front here, it acts as a grip. So, you know, everything kind of works together. I'm just not really feeling it personally. Aesthetically, this front piece up here is really weird. I don't know where they got that from, but it's probably the best looking part of the blaster. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about this thing, guys. Hopefully it comes to a store near you soon. Don't hold your breath. Definitely don't buy it full retail. Get some coupons, the 5-finger discount. No, don't steal it. I didn't say that. Wipe that from the record. But wait for it to go on clearance. Something. This is not a $50 blaster. So guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section. If you just want to flame my post, do that there. And Nerf on or fuck off.